Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we've got an unbelievable show in store for us. And as usual, Vodacom Durban July week. So we'll be having a little natter about what's going on there. And have you studied the card?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, that's very good.
I perused it.
You perused
What does peruse mean?
Peruse means you glanced over it.
No, peruse means you studied it. It's
Oh, is
exactly
that
the
so?
opposite. Peruse means to study. Yeah, peruse is not just flip through it.
Thank goodness we got you, the English.
Thank you. I perused
champion. Okay, you perused the card, which
I
means
can
that
see
you've
you got a big smile on
got
your
all
chops.
the
You
winners.
must have backed the rugby winner or something.
Well, I certainly didn't back the South Africa in the cricket. Can't back those.
Yeah, they only got beat by 20 runs, but they went at the wrong time. Eh?
Well, crikey, they've got no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of passengers on that side. It's not even
Yeah,
possible.
some of them are young. They'll come through. I just hope so. But not the worst. They both teams threw in the youngsters.
Just talking about the rugby, the British and Irish Lions tossed that game.
Best first half of game of rugby I've seen in many years. The Lions
people
try,
said that, yeah.
The Lions try was out of the top draw. It reminded me of the old Barbarians try. Fantastic running rugby. The All Blacks are a great side, especially at Eden Park.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to the second test.
it's going to be good. That's Wellington.
See,
That should be
the coach of the
Hurricanes-
Lions has said, I need protection on my... Every time we used our scrum off to put the high kick, they nailed him off the kick. They nailed him on the legs. Not trying to block the kick, they nailed his legs. He said, that's out of school. That was his big gripe.
Well, all I can tell you is that the Lions had 2 or 3 chances to
Yes,
score,
especially
which
in
they
the
missed.
second minute.
Which was
An
ridiculous.
ankle tap killed him.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
still, you know, it was great rugby, great to watch, and
The
South
Springboks,
Africa.
they're getting better.
Oh yeah, they've got a couple of assistant coaches that know what's going on now.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
it,
think that
yeah.
they're running.
They've tightened
the show.
up the defence.
Yeah.
They're very good.
Then
France
there's
got work to
two
do.
centres are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Creel and Serfontaine,
Yeah.
different class. And as I've always said to you, Giant Keys is a great fly half. Don't you worry about him. I know.
Rather you than me. I like to see him against Mertens and the people of that ilk.
Mertens
Carter's
has
and
retired a
Milton.
long
I know
time ago.
Carter has as well, but they'll
Carter.
play those.
Yeah.
They'll show him
I
up.
don't think there were many
No.
scrum halves. Only Nas was in that league.
Nice was a very good player.
Nas was in that league, that's for sure. Anyway, we've got great weeks racing. Well, just on the July, because we're not going to have a chance to talk about it. What do you fancy?
I fancy the 2 3-year-olds. I think it's between El Salem and Edict of Nantes.
Nothing's changed over the years. You've always fancied the
Yeah,
3-year-olds.
they're wrong. I didn't fancy a 3-year-old last year. James, I'm telling you that the weights, they're coming with handy weights, 53 and a half and 54.
But then,
He'd drawn one. Yes, he was very awkward last time in the Daily News. He had to be used.
also him.
Yeah, and I had a chat to Arthur Marcus about his horse, and he says, I don't think Alzheimer hasn't got speed. The world draw one won't kill him. That's the big fear. So for me, those are the two.
All right, I'm going to throw the curveball at you. If they're the two, surely Horizon's got to have a huge chance. He's meeting them on very good weight terms. You know,
Not
he
very
met
good.
them at
Just
level
a-
weights last
yeah,
time. He's
it's
getting a bit of weight.
That's fraction. He's
Yeah.
not going to turn 3.5 lengths with them.
Not.
No, he's not going to. But he's got a chance. I've always thought he should have been in the original field. He's got a big chance. And of the older horses, I like Striker Stratum's horse. He ran 4th last year. He's only had the one comeback run. And last year's winner, I think, had a soft introduction. I'd give him a chance. But beyond that, I think it's tough.
Yeah. Black
You?
Arthur,
What do you like? What do you like?
Black Arthur,
Not
there's
in
a
the
lot of
race.
talk about him.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me.
Okay.
What about you? Every time, there's one point I'll put out there. Every time Black Arthur has gone over ground against It's My Turn's beaten him. It's in black and white. Why is he going to turn it around this time with straight and riding It's My Turn?
No, I didn't say he's going to.
I'm just arguing that point.
I'm actually saying to you, Horizon's a big runner.
I
think
agree
he's
with
great
you. I
EJ
agree,
bet,
he is a big
and
runner.
I like the conglomerate. I think he's right in
Yes,
the race.
I think he's
but
right.
That's for a later show because we're going to be able to discuss it in full down
Yes.
the line, and we will certainly have a go and pull you to pieces. Anyway, let's leave it at that, and let's go in and have a look at our 3 to follow. Right, we're going to Scottsville, Wednesday's race meeting, and Glenn Cotson stepped out, a very nice son of Dynasty, I think he was.
I think it's out of Jalad Mare.
Out of a Jalad Mare, yeah, bred by Highlands. And this really does look like a nice colt. He was all at sea, eyes wide open. Well, this run will have opened his eyes wide, and we'll see what he does after this.
Yeah, he bumped some decent horses. Here he is here having his debut. It's always tough debuting over 14 unless you're really tuned up. Comes out well, gets a nice break, but he never gets too close to the fence, but he's urged along. So for horse having his debut, he's urged to get into the hunt. The eventual winner, Cool at Heart, has gone to front, and the danger is right up close to him in Bernard Cantor's colours. Those are the two. But this horse, you can see how deep it is, James. It's his first run, and he hasn't much idea of what's going on.
No, he's 3 wide at this stage. He does end up getting into being one off the fence, but he just doesn't look like he's got any idea in the straight. I thought that your horse ran quite a nice race, and I'm going to have a look at that next time. No one must forget about that one, because I think he probably needed this run, and the horses from the front were winning the races. You see, the first and second turning into the straight ran 1-2, and this horse is under pressure on the outside, and Orange Sleeve's getting a proper punch out by Stuart Randolph.
Yeah,
nice to see Stuart back.
Correct. Good to see Stewie back. He's had the operation, his hips back fine. Arthur Marcus and Charlie Laird team up on Cool My Heart, but Rock My Soul runs a cracker. And Anthony Delpesh and Arthur Marcus, the two leading riders in the province, and they really put in a tight finish, these two. And they're the horse we found is just kept staying on, suggesting it's going to learn a lot from this run.
Absolutely. He just now gets the hang of what's going on. Yours is on the outside of him. I thought runs a cracking race for the horses behind. And I think that those two will definitely run very shortly. I think we move on to the next one. We go to the Vaal, and we go and have a look on Thursday. And Sean Terry, well, he had a day on Saturday, on Sunday, but my goodness, this looks like a nice horse. Let's go and pick him up at the start.
Yeah, he's a horse called Battle Front by Judd Pott, Naddison Park bred, and just a little awkward at the gate, comes out slightly sideways. The winner in this race is a horse called Full Mast, who shows good speed throughout, and our friend Mr. Kumalo gives this horse Battlefront a decent ride, and for a stage or two I thought it was going to beat number 1 Full Mast. I mean the winner, Full Mast.
Well, the winner was a first timer as well, but it just looked like the way this horse ran on, certainly you can see the ground's quite firm there, and we've got this brown grass, and Full Mast has got the white cap and the white sleeves right in the middle of the track, and Battlefront's right on the inside at this stage, and you'll see that he does get to the winner, but just doesn't seem to be able to go past him. The winner's now in front and going well, and you'll see Battlefront does make up ground on him and really gets
that's
close.
right. He looks like he's going to. Skiminack comes into it with Stratum for Alec Laird as well. That runs a good race. There's a whole slew of them across there, Combat Muster, but at this stage, Cole Zechner set sail for home, and he's going to win. But I thought here for a moment or two, Bling was going to get Battlefront to beat Full Mast.
Yeah, I think that this might end up quite a nice form line here. There's horses that ran on well here. They look like they can gallop. And Michael Azzi's horse, who drifted to 20-1, does get the better of Battlefront. But you'll see Battlefront will improve a lot from this run. We move on from here to see the most impressive juvenile winner of the weekend. He won the Langerman, but the way he won it, we thought he's a horse that's full of promise for Vaughan Marshall. Let's go and pick up Tapper North, bred by the Fosters. And what a lovely horse this is.
Yeah, this horse has got a lot of potential. It wins by 4 lengths in the end, and it really is a cracking win. The expensive horse in the race was your favourite Silver Coin, and I spoke to Arthur Marcus about it. He said something felt amiss. He didn't persevere, put a line through this run. He's a way better horse than this. Feeling lucky, the acceleration goes off very quickly with Greg Sheen on the outside. You can see him really putting the pace on as he goes into that first bend and goes about 6 clear. But the winner is in 4th in the Foster colours, and this, as you say, is a smart individual, James.
Well, the way he ended up winning it, he's by Captain L out of Western Wintermere, bred by the Fosters. Since they've relocated to KwaZulu, to the Cape, they've done very well breeding some very, very good horses, Alec Foster. And this, I think, might be the best of all of them. The way this horse won, I was super impressed. I thought, you know, to win the Langerman like this, you've got to be some type of horse. And Vaughan Marshall will get the best out of this horse. So let's see how he goes from here. Bielefeld rode him, and turning into the straight, it looked like it would be a scrum between a whole lot of them. He comes out here, and a lot of them have got chances at this stage.
Yeah, it's open door. You know, the leader, feeling lucky, he's come back to them. Looks like he's going to run last because they all come in to sweep him, but he does stay on. But yeah, our friend Mr. Baileyfeld has timed it right. He changes his stick, and this big horse starts striding and beats him by 4 lengths at the finish, James.
Yeah, he absolutely doddles it, and he looks like a real galloper. He's got great action, and he goes on to win the Langeman by 4 lengths. We think he might be very, very good.
Okay, that's our 3 to follow, Jim.
Right, we're going to just have a look at This Shouldn't Happen, and as you know, you'll be able to get this on YouTube. Right. Well, as you see, if you owned that horse, you'd have a lot of problems finding out how you're going to get out of that one. But we're going to go and look at the Plum of the Week and one of the most impressive winners of the weekend. Let's go and look.
For home from Who's That Girl, Lindy Snain, Baroness Mary, Leaves of Grass, Tiffindale is coming through on the inside, Prancing comes up the middle, Sister Susie, and Western is deeper out, also starting to lift as the end of the final 300, down the inside, Keep the Faith, Who's That Girl, he's starting to pour on the pressure, Leaves of Grass on the inside, Tiffindale gets going, further back we got Prancing, then comes Baroness Mary, Who's That Girl with a head in front, along the inside we got Keep the Faith and Leaves of Grass taken off, Who's That Girl goes on to win it, from in second we had Leaves of Grass. Flying up on the outside, we had Sister Susie, and then came Keep the Faith.
Well, there you go. Who's That Girl? Bred by Narrow Creek Stud, Pachitano Hernando. But the betting was what was interesting. This filly had won and run third her last 2 starts. She looked like an absolute Monty to get this trip, which she showed, and she showed it very well. And she was 3 to 1 at any stage on Interbet. You could have got the bet on her, and certainly worth having that Interbet account to back these type of horses where you get at least 30 or 40% over the odds.
Yeah, good odds. Yeah, good race for Candace.
Yeah, it was, and it was part of the sort of Highlands Farm have got all these winter series races done in the Cape, and they had a whole lot of features on the day. And it was a great day's racing. The track looked in good shape, and Aldo de Meyer rode this fantastically. The second horse, funny enough, you bought in Australia.
Yeah, I bought it for Nardis. Nardis, great guy. My mate Nardis Lottering. I think him and his brother owned it. Leaves of Grass.
Also trained by Candace. So,
trained by Candace. There's a lot to come.
A lot to come. Well, there you go. Who's That Girl? Mike Bass apparently bought it cheap at a sale. You know, Walter wandering around himself.
Walter's got a good eye.
He knows exactly what's going on. He found this one, and well done to them. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with current affairs.
Whenever anyone asks me for a shrewd tip, my first response is always to tell them open an Interbet account. That's the biggest certainty that I can give any punter with total confidence. Not only is it a good business, but it is interactive, exciting, and great entertainment as well. My name is Snowy Brown. I'm a sports fanatic, and I'm all about sports betting because of the unpredictability, the enjoyment of the team being the underdog and finishing first, or a team scoring the winning goal in the last seconds of a match to be the victors. beauty about this is that if I'm betting on the soccer, I can use in-play betting, which allows me to bet across multiple areas of the game. Knowing I have full control of my betting spread and where my money goes gives me satisfaction that Interbet has given me the power to control my bets. In my opinion, Interbet were the pioneers of online and Mobi betting in South Africa and will continue to lead the way. Interbet, where the professionals bet.
Hi, welcome to Current Affairs, where we're going to show you some races that came out of Ascot. We're going to show you the group race that came out of the Winter Series down in Cape Town. And later on in Current Affairs, we'll be speaking to Candice and Koos about the success of their breeders meeting. The KZN breeders had a wonderful race day here on Sunday. But Jim, let's get straight into the action. Winter Derby.
Yeah,
Very good horse.
Third leg of the Triple Crown, and this horse was vying to be only the second horse ever to win the Triple Crown down there, you know, the Winter Triple Crown Series. And very interesting, Bernard Fade Herb had ridden Pocket Power to victory, and he ended up jumping on this horse and won it very, very good.
I had a chat with Justin this morning about it, and he said the horse really looked good. He's a decent horse. He doesn't know how good the opposition is, but he said he was pleased that Fred came down to watch, and it could be another big horse.
Certainly could be, because it was good because it was bred by Highlands.
Yeah.
He's a dynasty out of a Cosine mare, one of those mares that Graham Beck spent a lot of money and time and effort sending out from America, which has certainly improved our bloodline. And this horse looks like a fancy horse. Let's go and pick him up at the 800.
Next in running, we find Mangrove being followed by Ollivander. African Night Sky is going to corner 10 lengths off that leader. Paddington sits on the inside of that one, and Newland sees them all as they corner for home in the Highland Stud Winter Derby last leg of the series. It's soaring past in front, leading the way by 2 from Desert Wisdom racing in second. African Night Sky is being set about his business towards the inside, and Ollivander's trying to go with him into the closing stages. Deeper out we got Newland's Mangrove. It's African Night Sky that has taken the lead with 200 metres left for home, and he's kicked clear into the closing stages. African Night Sky, what a champion. You can bank the money. He draws clear. Spread Eagles the opposition, wins the series. African Night Sky wins it. Paddington second. Ollivander, Armate Art, and behind that we had Mangrove.
Well, that certainly was impressive. Way too good for them, drawing away comfortably with Bernard. Lots more to come.
Oh, he's a lovely horse, and certainly he's come into his own, this horse. He's had 7 starts for 4 wins, and as I say, he's won the Winter Series, which is, you know, the Highlands, now Ridgemont, put up the money for the Winter Series, paid the bonus, and great for them to have bred the horse that won it, you know.
Very good.
Makes a big difference, and they're certainly great supporters of this business. He wasn't cheap. He cost 850,000, but by
cheap
dynasty,
now.
Yeah, he looks cheap now. He's a lovely, lovely horse. He is a gelding as well, I might add. Let's move.
Royal Ascot. I wanted to ask you about Royal Ascot. You were speaking to me about the Queen. She was fantastic again.
Oh, well, one of the highlights of Royal Ascot is the Queen, okay? Now, the Queen's 91 years old. She arrived every single day before the first race, and on Wednesday she opened Parliament before she went to the races. And apparently she messed up the bookies got it all wrong, because they saw her opening Parliament in whatever outfit she was opening
They bet
Parliament.
on the hat.
And they bet on the hat.
Yes.
And she obviously changed. And she didn't put on the hat that they expected, because she was wearing whatever blue outfit they thought. So it was 1 to 8 was a blue hat. It wasn't the blue hat, it was the fox hat.
Yeah, that's right. That was very nice hat, you know. So I'm very pleased that they still bet on her hat, and I do like your jokes, James. But let's have a look. We've got a South African connection on the race that we saw, and Big Orange.
Yeah, well, I thought there was. We picked out 2 races from Royal Ascot because we obviously don't have time to show them all. But these to me, one was the South African connection. Duke of Marmalade stands here now. He's the sire of Big Orange, and I thought that this was one of the best rides you'll ever see to win it. And I know Ryan Moore, they slated him for running second on the Order of St. George. They thought that it would win, and they say he got too far behind. But let's go and pick him up at the 800, and we'll give you an idea what's going on. Big Orange is in front.
Together, but it's still Big Orange that leads the field, heading towards the final quarter mile. Big Orange from in second, Harbour Law nearly caught third down the outside. Prince of Arran wider out, Order of St. George beginning to unwind. Then She Is No Lady. Big Orange with 2 lengths on the field, heading to the final furlong. Here comes Order of St. George, gaining quickly on the outside. Big Orange from Order of St. George. Big Orange, can he find a little bit more juice out in front? Order of St. George ranges up to join in. Big Orange buckling down, nose to nose. They hit the line. Big Orange on the far side may just have held on from Order of St. George in an absolute thriller of a Gold Cup. Back in third, Harbour Law, and She Is.
That's a gutsy performance. The runner-up, the hot favourite, tried hard, but a bit to do, I thought.
Well, they meet again in the Goodwood Cup. Apparently, O'Brien has said, we're going for the Goodwood Cup now. Big Orange has won the Goodwood Cup a couple of times already.
Great
story. What saddens me is that we end up with a stallion like Duke of Marmalade, and you can see his forte is producing staying horses and proper stayers.
Yeah.
There are no staying races on our calendar at all. In fact, apart from the 4 or 5 races over 3,200 meters that are group or listed races, you don't have a race.
You've got to have more races.
Why is it that it's so bad? Surely you've got to give stayers a chance.
You've got to put them on. They'll fill. In time, they'll fill.
And they'll fill every single week. But the programming is shocking. It's got to be sorted out. And to Drachenstein, who've got this horse, Duke of Marmalade, we will do our very best to make sure that they put on races to suit these horses, because these horses are part of life. And I tell you, staying races, people love them. They are much more exciting than any other type of race.
Yeah, they are great races.
And it's hard. You bring in a stayer of the quality of Duke of Marmalade, and you just can't find races for them. Yeah. So that's got to be changed.
Let's go look at the Commonwealth Cup.
Okay, we go back to the sprint. Now, this is probably the best sprinter in the world. Caravaggio is by Scat Daddy, who's passed on.
I had a bet on Harry Angel. They had said that this horse is a bomb. And the trainer said it's the best horse I've ever trained. And I thought, well, that'll do me. Mr. Cox, he had Adam Kirby onto our line.
Clive Cox, he won a race, funny enough, earlier in the week with a syndicate of people that some of my friends are involved in. Okay. It's called the Hot to Trot Syndicate. And they leased a mare, leased a filly from Banstead Manor, and it won one of the group races at the Royal Ascot. That was fantastic for them.
Let's go and have a look at the Commonwealth Cup. Have a look where the winner comes from.
Yeah,
these are good sprinters.
Yalta. They are trapped by Tis Marvellous. Blue Point getting a bit closer. Legendary Lunch. Caravaggio in amongst them as they race on now inside the final 2.5 furlongs in the Commonwealth Cup. Harry Angel has made it all so far. Tracked by Blue Point, looking dangerous. Ryan Moore beginning to ask Caravaggio to pick up, not instantly, as they race inside the final furlong and a half. Godolphin dominating. Caravaggio moves into third. Blue Point is challenging Harry Angel inside the final furlong. Harry Angel and Blue Point, but Caravaggio is now really beginning to pick up on the far side and comes to claim the pair of them. Caravaggio has worn down the Godolphin pair and wins the Commonwealth Cup. In second, it was Harry Angel clinging on from Blue Point, bound for nowhere, back in fourth.
Well, they might have been putting the boot into Ryan Moore. They were giving him all the plaudits,
Well, this horse did everything wrong. He fell out the pens. He got himself into trouble. He never looked like he was comfortable. When Ryan Moore extracted him, he ended up winning like a champion that he is. He's won 8 from 8 now. He is, he's the new Scat Daddy. He will be a sprinting sensation stallion, this horse, I think.
Very
good. And he's a lovely looking horse, grey horse. And hopefully he does it for them, because I love him. I think he's a great horse.
You know, I was just something by the bar. I was watching a horse run at Royal Ascot, and the 2 presenters said, This horse is really washed out. He's sweated up badly. He's by
I hope
Galileo.
they didn't say he was sweating like
No,
so
he's
some of
sweating
the
up badly.
analogies that these South
Let me
African
get back to my
presenters
story,
use.
please.
Okay.
He's sweating up, and just like Galileo, he sweated up and he's uptight, and hopefully it doesn't affect him. I remember Galileo, he never sweated up once. I went back, I watched every single one of Galileo's races. He was a complete lamb, I watched a video on him. I don't know what this presenter was talking about. Galileo could be led around with a head collar. He really was that type of horse, and he was just a great horse,
Okay, well, let's just talk about Royal Ascot quickly. Wesley Ward, he brings, I thought he brought 9 horses over, and he finished on the same amount of winners as Charlie Appleby, John Gosden, and Mark Johnston.
Not my mate.
So, the leading trainer obviously was O'Brien with 6 winners. But Wesley Ward, fantastic.
He's very good.
And he brought over that filly, Lady Aurelia, again, and she's now apparently going to Australia. They're looking at going to the big race in Australia, which is worth $12 million.
Just proves you can travel horses, James. You can travel.
She wants to get out there and go there. Frankie was missed by everyone at Royal Ascot. He had a fall and never arrived. So we're very sad that he wasn't there. But talking about jockeys, Anthony Del Peche rode his 200th winner. He's heading for the championship again. This year,
Callum Murray's coming back to ride in the Vodacom Durban July, James, and him and Tony Miller have teamed up for a Group 3.
Yeah, they with a South African bred horse, bred by North Hills Bloodstock, by Stronghold. It was a horse called Horse of Fortune, and it's out of that Millie family, the famous Millie family. That's one of the strongest families in the stud book, and Robin Bruss bred it, so he obviously organised to get it over there, and well done to them. Who ran in the Group 3 was that horse that they think is a champion, something. He comes from the clouds. I can't remember his name. Anyway, forget it.
No problem. Okay. All right, so that just about sums it up. We're going to be talking to
Team Valor won a Group 1 in Brazil as well, and Team Valor, great supporters of ours. They obviously race all over the world. They had a Group 1 winner called Love and Happiness over in Basel at Brazil. So they're winning everywhere. Nice to see them. But we'll be talking to
Candice and
Koers now, and you'll be able to give them the gears. But I just want to say my take on the race day. Whoever did the trophies deserves a proper accolade, because they were fantastic. To get nice trophies like that is what it's all about. And the food up in the view room, I thought was outstanding. So
very good day.
It was a very good day had by all, and congratulations to the Scots for breeding the winner. Good luck to them.
All right, so that'll be part 2 of Current Affairs. We'll be coming back in a moment talking to Candice and Koers. Welcome back to part 2 of our Current Affairs, where we've got Candice Marnovic and we've got Koers de Klerk, who come and talk to us about the success of their great race day they had yesterday. Thanks very much for coming in, guys. Let's start off a very successful day.
Yeah, from where we sat, Candice and I were mostly busy working, so it is really to ask the other people that were here, but we had very positive reaction from everybody attending.
I can allude to that. I really thought it was very well organised. The theme was very good. It was well attended, and turned out to be a great day for Sean Terry.
Right. Well, he seems to do it everywhere, not only here.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why he is the champion trainer that he is, and it is amazing what he does. And on the day, we couldn't be more happy for him.
Tell us, you've got these KZN breeders incentives. Tell us a little bit about this. People out there know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it would really, it is essential for us as a KZN breeding community to try and to convince people, give them reasons to buy KZN horses. Now, first of all, as we've just had the race day, where we have 7 200,000 rand races for purely KZN bred horses. And we have R1 million raced for 3 years and up over a mile, which I think is very well supported.
Yeah.
And we would like to extend that to all the people that actually have KZN bred horses, which maybe don't realize will qualify for these races.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that there are horses elsewhere in the province that qualify, and I would like to make it clear that horses that qualify as KZN bred horses are not only horses that sold at sales, it's identified as KZN bred horses, it's all horses that's registered with the KZN breeding scheme.
If a Cape breeder sent a horse into, say, Magog, and they sent it back and it fell down in Cape Town, how does that come in? If they're registered, are they eligible?
They cannot be registered. The mare, the criteria is that the mare has got to be permanently residing in the KZN.
Okay, sure.
So that is not possible, and it's confusing.
Yes,
Could
sure.
be and also the opposite is also true. There could be a Cape stallion, could be a dynasty, could be anything. As long as it's registered here, the only rule for that is that the mare has got to go to a KZN stallion every second year.
Okay.
But in between, the mares goes, well, there's a
The
lot of...
KZN mare can go down to
100%.
Cape Stud and come back here.
Yes, and that horse, does, as long as it's registered, and it's very important, I think, for owners out there to know that there are clear indications normally. It's a KZN stud or it's a KZN stallion. But if there's a horse bought, for instance, from Mickey Goss's Summerhill stud, and it's a dynasty, it probably is a KZN bred horse.
Yes.
And it's very easy to find out.
Nominated.
Well, that's the one way. But Candice Candice is our permanent KZN representative of the KZN breeders community, and she will assist in all queries.
So anyone can contact her with any...
At any stage, email is cheap and it's quick.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay. Are there any other schemes that or incentives?
There's a number of things that we do have. One of the things that we tried this year is what we call the level playing fields, a series of races. And if you just let me quickly go through the criteria. The reason behind this series was that we thought that we have a lot of supporters advice KZN horses, and does not really, and often, on the cheaper scale or the normal horses.
Yes.
Most of them don't get to the graded races and all of that. To award or to reward people for buying and having those horses, we devised a series of races where we've decided almost, to cut it off at the 78 merit rating.
Sure. Yeah, don't put them on.
And a horse that has shown that he is 78 merit rated horse by having had to have had 5 starts at least.
Yeah.
So you don't want your up and coming 3-year-old that's going to end up
established horses.
100%. And we thought there's normal bottom feeders like myself. We don't have access to the top stallions and the top trainers and the top jockeys mostly. And to give everybody a fair chance, we decided that we'll have 3 races for the same horse, over 1,200, 1,400 and a 1,600 meters on grass. And
on a points basis.
On a points basis, starting with 21 points for the winner and going all the way down to the bottom, the last finisher.
This is where you ballot for riders.
And we ballot for riders, so that everybody has got a fair chance of getting a Delpech or a Billy Jacobson who almost won the tournament. And it ended up so close at the end of the day that there was 1 point between the winning jockey and the second jockey.
Fantastic.
And so we thought it was a good
It was well received by the jocks because I heard them talking about how Billy was trying to hang on.
Yeah. So I think mostly most of us, I thought it was a success. We will like to bring it back next year. It's a slightly different format, maybe tweak it a bit so that it works properly. The other incentive that we have for this year specifically is that for the $1 million race that's run on Durban July Day for the KZN yearling sales.
Yeah. That's a great race, a 1,300 meter race for R1 million.
That's correct. Now what we would like to do is to add 200,000 rand bonus for the KZN bred horse if he was to win that race. So, and the difference between, of course, that race, it's not only for KZN horses, it's for all horses that are sale. Yeah. So we would like everybody to come to the sales, buy horses, not only for that race, because Candice can tell you that how many good horses have come off that sale and has gone on to win a lot of races.
Yeah, okay, Candice, let's bring you in now. Let's talk about the sale coming up. What can you tell us?
Well, it's produced a number of good horses, as we know, in particular the KZN breds to have come off at our Group 1 winner, Wild One.
Yeah.
We've also had Seal, we've had Virgo's Babe, Jibby Chew, we've had Colour of Courage, Piemonte stud bred the Group 3 winner, Otamara, who actually wasn't
sold.
sold.
Where did the King come from?
He came from the Alchemy, Philip Kahan.
Yeah, was he on the sale?
Yes, he was on the cell. It's also produced the likes of Happy Valentine.
Yes, yeah, Group 1 winner for Vaughan, correct.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so some very good horses have come with them. What does it look like this year? What do our stallions look like this year?
We've got a number of new stallions. From a KZN perspective, we've actually got Al McDum, who has his first yearlings consigned. He's a sire of El Soberano. We've also got Await the Dawn. We've got Crusade, the very exciting Noble Tune.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that.
A lot of talk. First yearling sold for $350 at Nationals. Very happy with that. We've got the first yearlings from Redoubt's Promise, the Assayer, Irish Flame, who's already had 2 winners, and Eightfold Path.
Yeah, so it looks promising. Now we've got 2 days, Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
And it's at Sabaya, back at
Yes,
Sabaya. How
back
does it look
at
down
Sabaya.
there?
Very smart, very nice. The horses have moved in. They're ready for viewing. KZN breeds can be identified with stable door posters on their on their doors and hip stickers in the
You've got
sales
the hip
room.
stickers and everything sorted out, eh?
Yes.
Of course, just quick end with you, KZN Breeder Scheme. Quick word about that.
Well, it's a scheme that's been going for quite a long time. A lot of people, I think, have got misconceived ideas about it. But in general, it is a scheme that, with the help of Gold Circle, of course, and we'd like to thank them for that, but it's a scheme whereby we try to reward breeders in the province for breeding here. And it's simply a scheme whereby you can get mostly what you've put into the scheme based on the amount of winning horses that you've had in the series to at least cut the cost of breeding in the province.
And so it's been going for years.
It's been going for a long time, for years, before I got into breeding on this side. But it is a scheme where it's very, it doesn't cost you much. I mean, you got to, if you have a mare here that's permanently resident here and goes to a Natal stallion every second year, based on the earnings of that horse, that will, you know,
That determines your money coming back.
The money that you will receive back, and from the breeder's point of view, we are looking at changing the scheme so that you will be rewarded not by reinvesting, or at least investing in stallions and or mares in the province again, because as you know, or I suppose everybody knows, that the great stallions of the moment is all not in KZN.
No,
and we really are going to put in a serious effort.
We need another Fulros.
Yes, of course. Of course, Mickey Goss's Northern Guest.
Northern Guest, Mick's had some big ones, that's right. And the beauty of it is he's been champion breeder 9 or 10 times, proving that you can breed great horses here.
Well, the thing is, it's not, as far as I'm concerned, where you breed, is what you breed to.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the old days, I remember before my time, you know, the horses from the Karua was just the horses to have.
Yeah, tough.
So where the stallions are, that's where the
good horses are. Well, that's fantastic. Now, Candice, people are going to get hold of you. So some person gets on that sale and says, I want to buy a few horses because we've just seen a Sunday where you can earn a lot of money, as Sean Terry did, and you've got the 2-year-old race on Vodacom Durban July Day. Yes. They're going to buy a horse, and how do they get hold of you?
They can call me either on 083 789 1631, or they can email me on candicemonwick@gmail.com.
Is there a website?
There is kznbreeders.co.za.
And your details are all there?
Yes, everything's there. We've also got Facebook page, Instagram. Please join us.
Excellent. Thanks very much for your
Thank
time,
you.
and we'll definitely see you at your sales. So there we are. Get down there. The Thursday and Friday, we've got those sales. Go and buy a champion. Welcome to another edition of Your Call, and with me in Your Call is a fellow trainer and colleague, Tony Riveland, who does all the estate, Sommerfeld Estates tracks and that, and had great success with them. And obviously I'd like to talk to him about Scottsville and about Greyville coming up the big season, and talking tracks is always a tough point in the winter season. Tony Abella, give us a few more ideas. Tony, thanks very much. First of all, let's talk about Sommerfeld. It's gone very well, the grass tracks here.
Yes, it has, Lev. I think Sommerfeld traditionally has always had good grass tracks. At times they haven't been perfect, and that depends on the weather and possibly the chemicals that you're applying at any time of the year, and that's dependent on the management, at the time. But I must say, over the years at Sommerfeld, and I've been there since 1985, and I think yourself as well, or maybe you at Ashburton at that time, the grass tracks have generally been good, but a lot easier to grow kikuyu in Sommerfeld than it is down at the coast.
Tell us what, just I'm going to stop you every now and then. Why is it better to grow it at Sommerfeld, which is such a good grass kikuyu, and is not as successful down here at Greyville?
Well, look, first of all, kikuyu doesn't do well when conditions are high in salinity.
Okay.
And unfortunately, if you look at all golf courses in KwaZulu-Natal, they generally have cyanodin or a mixed species of grass. Durban Country Club, Paspalum, high in saline, difficult to grow kikuyu. This racetrack tradition has been kikuyu. We like kikuyu. It retains its colour in the winter. In summer, it does extremely well. When you're getting normal rainfall, it thrives, obviously. You don't then have to use your borehole to water the track like you do in the dry periods.
Being in winter.
So,
and the borehole is here, and that's where we take our water from mainly.
That's where we take our water from. So obviously the salinity content of the water at Greyville is too high for kikuyu to
Salty
thrive.
water, you say?
Salty water, basically.
Because we're close to the sea?
Close to the sea.
So
simple as that.
So it's as simple as that. You're getting the different water up at Sommerfeld.
Yeah.
Down here, the kikuyu does not thrive because of the salt water or the salt content in the water. What are the other grasses that do?
Well, the cyanodin species, and there's so many different species of cyanodin, it's frightening, Laf. And at Greyville, predominantly at the moment during winter, we have the dactylon variety that comes through. It's a much thinner leaf, thin-leafed grass, and it's not as durable as other forms of cyanodin. And as you well know, you sit on the racing committee. The racing committee took a decision last time to employ the services of Mike Kruger.
But let's go back. Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
When Robert Malvi was chairman, before Pumla, and him and Neil Butcher sat everyone down from the grounds and everything, said, our priority is to get this track 100% right. We threw a lot of money at it.
Yes.
It improved. And then if one looks at the greenness now from, I remember the whole board looking at the last 5 years, it looks like it's getting better, but we're still getting bad comment. So we've been putting a lot of money at it.
Yes.
And now you say we brought in a new guy called Mike Kruger.
Yes.
Tell us about him.
Laf, you're 100% right. I mean, this has been an ongoing project, and it takes a long time to get it right. We have thrown a lot of money at the track, and I must be honest, I think the track has more grass on it today than it's had over the past few years. There's no doubt it has improved. From a grass point of view, it's got good coverage. Obviously, though, if you walk the track at the moment, as we go into winter, the cyanodin has taken over the grass track.
Stronger than because of the saline affecting the kikuyu, the saline, does it sort of weed its way past everything?
It does, Laf. The other thing about kikuyu you must understand is that when you have high traffic, and if you're galloping horses a lot and you've got equipment riding on the track all the time, your kikuyu is not as strong, strangely enough, as your cyanodin. And they compete with each other in the summer. So in summer, you'd see this track most probably has 50% kikuyu and 50% cyanodin. Don't forget the golf course in the middle is full of cyanodin. So it seeds from there.
What's it in winter?
In winter, it's 90% cyanodin, 10% kikuyu.
It takes over, eh?
Yeah, it completely takes over the kikuyu.
And it's not as durable.
No, it's not as durable. The problem with cyanodin too is this type of cyanodin doesn't hold its colour well, and it doesn't recover well once you've had horses gallop over it. Once they've pulled that cyanodin and they've damaged the plant, it doesn't recover well.
So in comes Mike Kruger.
So well, that's why at the racing committee we decided, as you know, that we need to employ the different people to give us a fresh look at what we can do to really improve this track. And we've chosen Mike Kruger. Mike Kruger's been very involved from Top Cross Nursery. He's one of the largest producers of seed and grass in the province. Old school agronomist, and I've had a meeting with him, consulted with him. He's going to, although our soil analysis at Greyville, as you know, comes up really good.
Yeah,
the specs are good.
Let's
All the
talk about
nutrients
that.
are there.
A lot
in the
of
ground.
people are saying maybe the soil's not that
Yeah.
good. You've taken soil counts. We've done that many times, and it's constant.
Yeah. Strangely enough, the soil analysis that comes back from the different agricultural colleges where it's analysed, comes back, it's full of the right nutrients. It seems very healthy. But for some reason, we're still going to always battle, as we've alluded to previously, because Kikuyu does not do as well at the coast as it does inland. You look at the Gauteng tracks. Kikuyu, look at gardens in Gauteng. Kikuyu does extremely well. And that's the reality. I think we've got to face...
Gauteng loses the colour with the frost. What grass
that's all.
is it?
Still
That's
Kikuyu.
Kikuyu,
All
but,
Kikuyu, but it's still got good coverage. Good coverage, good cushioning, and that's the advantage they have over KwaZulu-Natal.
Our problem here is that we've got a situation where the Sanhedrin takes over in winter. It's not durable. It tears up. It hasn't got a bigger leaf. Along comes Mike. What does he suggest?
Well, there's so many different varieties of Sanhedrin, and he says he thinks what we should be doing here at Greyville is looking at the Green Gulf variety, which in fact he developed.
Okay.
And he developed it by chance, doing a lot of the golf courses. He noticed this particular grass was tough, it was more durable, it could grow in salty conditions, and that's how he's managed to evolve this. I wouldn't say it's a hybrid Sanhedrin, but it's his own type of plant that he's established. It was.
And where has he put it?
It's on a lot of these football pitches. If you go and look at Kersney, the problem they had with all the games. Kersney,
remember Kersney? Yes.
Massive problems, no grass. He took over Kersney, and Kersney, they will tell you that when they had the big rugby tournament, the schoolboys rugby tournament, Kersney's never been in better shape.
Yeah.
If you go to Northwood Boys High, you must go and have a look at that sports field and the amount of traffic it gets on it. And it's in fantastic condition. And there he's growing Sanhedrin.
Solution
exactly.
of water.
All saline solution of water there. And it's amazing that if you look at the health of the grass, it's green, it recovers well. The other thing we must understand is Sanhedrin, wherever you get compaction left, and you get a lot of compaction in these tracks, all this organic material. Don't forget, we use mulching machines to cut these tracks. All those little grass clippings end up back in the soil. They break down to organic material. Organic material becomes very fine. So your top 75 mils, your top layer, becomes compacted very easy. And that's when Kikuyu doesn't do well and Sanhedrin does extremely well. The soil actually becomes...
So Tone, how do we get around the situation of every year we're not going to have guys saying, listen, my horses are joining up, or my horse, the cross track isn't that good. Now, if Mark comes along, does he overseed? How does he get it so it's durable and thick?
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do this year, Lef, as a first step out the box. We're going to look to be planting Green Gulf Sanhedrin on this track. Get rid of the dactylon, try and introduce fully Green Gulf Sanhedrin. That means in summer, there won't be Kikuyu on this track. We will keep a Sanhedrin species alive and as healthy as possible during the summer months. So basically, we're not going to concentrate on Kikuyu anymore. We're going to really try and grow in this new species of grass.
How does this new species of grass grow under the shadow of the grandstand?
Perfect.
That's another word.
Much better. So it does much better in the shade than Kikuyu does. Kikuyu needs warmth and it needs water.
Yes.
And you can't water this track in the shade here in winter.
Got to
it doesn't
time
dry.
watering, yes.
It's very difficult. And
that's
so
the key, not drying your track and kick back.
All the kickback.
Trainers wrapping arms.
And the grass gets too cold, the soil temperature ends up too cold, the grass doesn't thrive. Where that form of Sanhedrin species, that Green Gulf species, does extremely well under those conditions. So we know it's durable. However, and notwithstanding what we've just said, I'm a great believer that we should be interseeding the straight with a form of rye. Rye. And you can gradually interseed it that you hardly notice the color because the Green Gulf's going to remain a lot greener than this dactylon Sanhedrin that loses its color. And you're going to have a good coverage of grass, and I think it's going to stand up to wear and tear of horses much better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need as much water, so you're not going to have all these soft patches that that arise when you're giving a lot of water and you've got a lot of wind here at Greyville. Water's not perfect. I think we must also go back to the 1980s. The Durban Turf Club relayed the turn here, if you remember.
Yes.
They banked the turn.
That's right.
A lot of different material was brought in at the time, Laf, and this track has never drained perfectly.
We've had problems.
Since that time, we've had
especially
we've
down
had,
to 1200
especially
metre,
around from the
that-
1200
that's
all the way
the
down to the 800 metre
municipal
mark.
drains and that, yes.
All those drains that run underneath there. When you get heavy periods of heavy rainfall, it's much.
We've
it remains
unblocked
much
them,
wetter
we've
there.
we've done so much to work on them. But
Done all of those things.
you know, after the big rain the other day, I drove around the corner going home, and the roads were flooded.
Yes.
So it shows those drains cannot take deluges.
No, they can't. So, Laf, I think, that's what we're going to do for the next year.
So step one.
Step one is introduce the new cyanode and use that as the grass throughout the year. It's going to do well.
So
let's not try and grow kikuyu here.
Okay, I'll ask another question. If we meet again next year and I say, Tony, it didn't work, which let's hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
But say it doesn't work for some reason or other, it's not that good for racing. Is there ever a chance we can say, boom, let's relay this track?
But Lef, if you go back a few years to the racing committee, Plan 2 was always in the mind of the directors that at some stage we may need to relay this
Yes,
track. It's been down for, I don't know how long,
Yeah.
50, 60, 100 years. I wouldn't know how long the track's been down for. So the plan would then be is to remove the top 12 inches of material and decide, but you've got to decide what grass do you want to grow there? Grass is going to thrive throughout the year? So hopefully next year we'll establish the fact that this form of cyanodin, this green gulf cyanodin, is going to be the grass of choice for Greyville. Then we decide on the in situ material you need. So you then mix the right kind of organic and sand that you're going to have to bring in, the in situ material as such, that's going to be conducive to growing the best type of grass that we want to race on. And then it's going to be even, because if you rip off 12 inches of soil and you put that, then you can see what's going on underneath. It's very important, Mike Kruger says. And he tells me, we all forget that you must also know what's going on underneath that 12 inches.
Yes.
Because your soil becomes hydrophobic. Water doesn't move then. The top becomes hydrophobic because it gets compacted. And then when it goes through the fissures in the ground, if you've got different soils all over the place, the water doesn't drain evenly.
Yeah.
So water then gets trapped underneath in little pockets there. And that's why you get the patchy going.
Do you have to verti-drain more often?
Yeah, you might have to, but at least we'll be able to see when you take 12 inches off, we'll see what kind of in situ material we've got there. There might be parts of the track that we need to dig out areas and put in a new material.
Yeah,
and then still lay your 12 inches. You're growing, remember, grass, no matter what grass, it's not going to grow. Your root structure won't be much more than 6 inches, 150 mils.
Yeah.
After that, it's just your drainage medium and then into your bottom layers of soil. And that, he says, is much more important than people realize. And he said, so that's something we'll look at. But I think as a first step, that's the second step. If it doesn't work next year, if we find that introducing this new green gulf cyanodin doesn't do the trick, and possibly overseeding with the rye down the straight during the winter months, if that doesn't work, if we don't see a huge improvement, then obviously the board have always been mindful of the fact that it's not as if this board have never wanted Greyville to be a premier track.
Yeah.
It's not as if they don't want to throw money at it. You sit on the board now. I've sat on the board for years before that. Through the racing committee, this board has always wanted to have this track in the best condition it possibly can be. And so we've got to look at the different options that are available to us out there. It's difficult. It's interesting. If you look at the tracks overseas, they're racing a lot of those tracks. They don't race nearly as many times as we do. They're a lot wider.
Yes.
But if you look at how the going's posted on those tracks, nearly every race meeting you'll see good to soft or soft, patchy in places.
Yeah.
They actually posted as patchy in places.
Yeah,
it's amazing. We don't do that.
couldn't.
If we hit a patch, the jockeys go overboard.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the jockeys' complaints in some
they're
areas
valid.
are not right
They're
or not valid.
valid.
We're not trying to say that. But I also think that this track maybe comes under a little bit, for me, slightly unfair criticism this year. I don't know why at odd times there's been that patch there. I think it's been there for a long time. They've tried to rectify it. And we've gone through all the reasons that most probably there. You might find the material sitting underneath in that area is not the same as the rest of the track. So no matter what you do, you're not going to get that right. Yeah. But I think as a first step, let's try and find the grass that does best at this track. We know we've got high salinity content. We know kikuyu is not the grass of choice at the coast. So let's find the grass of choice that's going to do best. The racehorses will run best on. And if that doesn't work, we'll then look at step 2, which is possibly relaying the whole track.
Before we wrap up here, Durbanville have relayed theirs.
Yeah.
And it's looking good.
In fact, I remember 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, the Ready to Run cell walking across the track, and Rion du Plessis was chatting to Robert Bloomberg. And later in the day, they spoke to me about putting a poly track there. And I said, Why would you want to put a poly track? Nothing actually wrong with Durban, except that it's very undulated and you've got a very tight turn. Relay the track. If you're going to do that, rather spend that money, because poly is very expensive.
Yes, it is.
And unfortunately, some trainers will always be anti-poly.
Yeah,
I think it has its place. I have a lot of horses that run better on poly than on grass and pull up fine from it, And likewise, we have horses that are definitely better on the grass. And I think you've got two options here, and that's the advantage. So I'm positive about the future, Leif. And that's really what we're going to do. From a Scottsville point of view, we also have a problem with too much Cynodin in the track. And this year we're going to really attack the Cynodin in a big way, because Kikuyu should thrive at Scottsville. But it does need water, and Scottsville's a dry area left. And that's something, but we have water there, and as long as we can get enough water down, the Kikuyu should really do well at Scottsville. And I think once we can eliminate all that, we allowed too much Cynodin to the track at Scottsville. Get the Cynodin out, spray it out, get the Kikuyu strong again, and that track should race really well next year.
Robbie, thanks very much for
Pleasure,
coming
man.
in. I hope that makes it a bit clearer for you guys out there. It's very important that we get it right, and we're working very hard to get our tracks right. That's your call this week.
Your world of winners is now online at www.teletrack.com. Simply subscribe to log into your account from any mobile device in South Africa and access a wide variety of content from our membership package options. Listen in via a live audio stream, catch live racing locally and internationally, or view a wide variety of Teletrack magazine shows to stay informed and updated on the go at any time. It's never been easier. Go to teletrack.com now.